Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluchi, if you guys don't know, and this is Midnight Reading. So if you're like me, you probably love road trips or you go on a lot of road trips. Whether it's traveling to a different state, whether it's traveling just like 40 minutes to a different city, you just love going on road trips, just love being on the road, and you usually find yourself not having anything to do. I'm the kind of person, if I'm going on a road trip and it's either by myself or in an Uber, or even if it's with friends, I always love having a book on hand, because whether it's a book on my tab, a book on my laptop, or just a physical copy of a book, I think it's the best time. Road trips are literally the best time to catch up on your reading goal, or just to finish a book that you've been meaning to start, or just a book that you've already started and you just haven't had enough time to finish it. So in this video, I have compiled a list of 5 books that I think are awesome for a good old road trip. I compiled this list aware that everybody has their own different genres or just different stories that fit their own unique tastes. So I've compiled this list with 5 different novels, 5 different plots, 5 different stories, 5 different characters, 5 different genres, in the hope that you guys might love these novels just as much as I did. And just as a side note, these are not big novels. These are novels that you can finish in less than 4 or 5 hours, or even 3 hours. These novels are quick, short, and just straight to the point. And I have a feeling that you guys are going to love these novels just as much as I did. So without further ado, let's get into the list. So I'm going to go ahead and start this video with my favorite book of all time. I have read almost 500 books in my lifetime, but this book remains my favorite. For the first time, I read it actually when I was 15, and then I reread it recently, and it still resonated. To be honest, it even resonated more at this age than it resonated when I was 15. And this is Walk to Moons by Sharon Creech. So Sharon Creech is known for being a middle grade author, but I feel like if you're somebody that's read a lot of literature and read lots of books, I feel like those lines are all blurred because you can connect with different experiences and different stories regardless of your age. Walk to Moons by Sharon Creech is a book I read when I was younger, and it deeply impacted me and still does so up till today. So basically, this story follows our main character, Salamanca Treehiddle, as she goes on a road trip. Perfect, right? She's going on a road trip, and this video is about books to read on a road trip. But yes, Salamanca Treehiddle is going on a road trip with her grandparents. So Salamanca Treehiddle, our main character, is going on a road trip with her grandparents from Idaho to Ohio. So while she's on the road trip, her grandparents are like, "Tell us a story, Sal, tell us a story." And the first character that came into her mind was her friend back home, Phoebe Winterbottom. So basically, the novel is told in past and present tense, obviously because she's telling the story and recounting memories of her past. So Phoebe Winterbottom is a very interesting character in Salamanca's life. I'm going to try not to spoil it too much, but she's basically telling the story of Phoebe Winterbottom, also about her first love, her first crush. But the main theme in this novel is about youth, loss, and grief, because from the very beginning we see that Salamanca is without a mother. Her mother left the family home and never returned, and that's basically the whole purpose of the road trip, for the grandparents and her to look for their mother and find her mother. Like, what happened to mom? Why did mom leave? And that is the whole purpose of the novel. And it just resonated with me so much because Salamanca is just somebody that I think there's a Salamanca in all of us. Whether we're trying to deeply connect with ourselves, trying to find who we are, or always constantly wondering why the people we tend to love the most are the people that tend to hurt us the most. So I just loved Walk to Moon so much. I think it's a novel that I will always recommend on this channel because it's my favorite book. I can recommend it to somebody that's 40 years old. I can recommend it to somebody that's literally 10 years old. It's just that relatable. So the second book on the list is a book that is very well known. It even got adapted to a Netflix TV show. And I actually read this book early last year, because I was recommended to it by a TikToker. So this is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. And if you guys actually go ahead and read the graphic novel, I also recommend you guys to watch the Netflix show, because I've heard nothing but good reviews about it. Nothing but good conversation around it. Heartstopper follows the story of Charlie Spring. Charlie Spring recently came out at his all-boys school last year, telling everyone that he was gay. This year he's in year 10 and things are not so bad anymore because he's not being bullied, but they're not good either because he's still faced with a lot of internal issues and just a lot of problems that he's trying to sort out. Nick Nelson is in year 11. Charlie Springs is year 10, Nick Nelson is in year 11, so a year above Charlie. And Nick is one of the star players on the rugby team that they're both in. And he's heard a lot about Charlie. He knows that he's gay. Charlie's quite, even though Charlie goes through all this, he's quite still well known around the schools. But Nick has never had the opportunity to actually talk to Charlie and get to know him. So soon enough, they become friends, Nick and Charlie. And Charlie ends up falling for Nick, but again, Charlie's gay and Nick is not. So he ends up falling for Nick, and Charlie just thinks, oh my god, this guy's awesome, but I'm gay and he's probably straight and I have no chance with him at all. But love works in strange and surprising ways. So this is definitely a fast read. You can get through with Heartstopper in less than 2 hours, probably like an hour, honestly, or an hour and 30 minutes. It's an awesome novel. I think it's even a webtoon now, so it's literally everywhere. It's an awesome graphic novel. So yes, Heartstopper is just such a cute novel. Like, people even cry after reading the first novel. And I forgot to mention, but it is part of a series. I believe there are about like 5 books in the series. I'm caught up, but I am aware that there's one novel that just recently came out that I haven't read yet. So I'm kind of caught up to everything. I just feel like once you read Nick and Charlie's story in Heartstopper, you're just going to want to literally binge read everything because it's just that good. Another author I could not stop raving about because she's just fantastic is Maggie Stiefvater. Guys, if you haven't checked Maggie Stiefvater's works out, what are you doing? Go ahead and pick up a book by Maggie Stiefvater because all her books are so good. She's such a talented YA writer. She's just so amazing. I've literally read almost all the novels she has actually written. I've read almost everything. I am literally a fangirl when it comes to Maggie Stiefvater. So in this novel, the novel that I'll be recommending by Maggie Stiefvater is one of her standalones, because she's known for writing a lot of series, but it's one of her standalones, very few standalones, and that is the Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. I have already talked about this novel on this channel, but I do recommend that it's one of those novels that is great for a road trip. I actually read the Scorpio Races on a road trip, so I just know how it feels. So basically, this novel is set in November on the island of Thisbe, and it follows our 2 main characters, Puck and Sean. Puck is a girl and Sean is a 19-year-old guy, and it's told in 2 POVs. So basically, in the island of Thisbe, every single November there's a race that is held, the Scorpio Races. This race is not your traditional horse race. It's with horses, but they're mythical horses called the Kapał Ushka. So these horses are hard to tame, they're violent, they're mythical. You have to race with these horses, and some people die in these races while others don't. And Sean is 19 and he's like a champion when it comes to these races. So he's known for winning, or he's known for doing well. And Puck is also a girl. She's the first female to ride in these races. Puck didn't mean to enter these races, but something happens that makes that she has to enter these races. So it's just awesome. There's romance, there's adventure. It's just one of those novels that it just flies by. Once you start reading it, you get so hooked into the novel that before you look up, you're done with the book. So it's just one of those novels that go by pretty fast, and it's extremely interesting. A thing I always say when I give Maggie Stiefvater praise is that she always writes in POV. She never has just one character for her whole novels. Always different multiple characters or 2 characters narrating her novels. And she does such a good job with character distinction, and she just knows the characters she writes about. Because when you read the POVs, you're just yup, this author knows her character, because it's so distinct that you never get confused, and it's always complimentary. So I just believe that the Scorpio Races is one of those novels by Maggie Stiefvater that you definitely need to check out. If you guys are a subscriber to this channel, this is not the this is not going to be the last time you're going to hear about the Scorpio Races. So I definitely believe you should go ahead and check it out. It is one of those novels that you will not regret. And she's one of those authors that you will be like, I'm so happy I discovered her, because she's just that amazing. So the next novel on this list is a novel that is quite popular all over BookTube, Bookstagram, Book Talk. Is quite popular, but some people still haven't read it, so I'm just going to push you to read this novel, and that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. So this novel is a form of escapism. Like when I read it, it was escapism for me because it was around the time of the US presidential elections, and it's just one of those novels that is just like, it's so sweet, and it's just so entertaining. So basically the novel is set in an America where the president is a woman. It's a female president, and her name is President Claremont. And she has a son who is Alex. So he's the first son of the US. And basically Alex hates Prince Henry, and Prince Henry belongs to the British monarch. So he hates Prince Henry, and Prince Henry hates him. Like they have this nemesis thing going on, like arch nemesis thing going on. And one day they're in a wedding, and this is around the time that President Claremont it's the US elections in this novel. And it's around the time where she wants to be reelected as a president. You know, when it's the election period and you're a president that wants to be reelected, you kind of have to be careful with the way you're living your life, because any little thing you do and people find out, you're out of there. You're not going to have a second term, basically. So for her first son, Alex, they're at a wedding, and Alex and Prince Henry have a confrontation, and this confrontation gets photographed, and the next day everyone is talking about it. Everyone is like, what? The first son of America and the Prince of England had a confrontation? Like, what the heck? So this doesn't fare well for the president of America, and also doesn't fare well for the British monarch. This divide between these countries that are supposed to be allies. So their plan for like damage control is basically telling the first son of America, Alex, and Prince Henry to stage a fake friendship. So they basically tell them to go out in public, and then they call the paparazzi, and they'll take pictures of Prince Henry and Alex being super friendly, so everyone will believe, oh, okay, there's nothing wrong, like these countries are still friendly, and the children are friends too. So this goes on for a while. They take fake photos of these two being friends, and sooner or later this fake friendship becomes something much more real. It becomes a secret relationship. A lot of pages is told in email format, because obviously Alex is based in America and Henry's based in England. So a lot of the pages is not just like normal chapters, it's like email format, like they're sending emails to each other, and it's just so well done. It's one of those novels, like I read this novel in like 3 hours. It's one of those novels again that once you start reading it, you can't put it down. It's literally so funny. Like while I was reading this novel, I was literally laughing out loud. Like my sister was like, are you okay? Because it was just so funny. Casey McQuiston is such a great author. It's going to leave you laughing. It's going to leave you blushing. It's going to leave you feeling warm inside. It's also quite spicy, guys. It's also a spicy romance. So I definitely recommend Red, White, and Royal Blue. It definitely lives up to its hype. And it's a form of escapism. It's just one of those novels that you read and you're just like, oh my god, this world just sounds so awesome, and then you come back to real life. But yes, it's an amazing novel, and it's definitely one of those novels that is just perfect for a road trip, perfect for also a long road trip. It is just that good. So the final novel that I'm recommending for a road trip on this list is actually the biggest novel on this list, but it's a novel that I read in my 24-hour reading vlog. So if you want to see me read this novel, you can go ahead and check my 24-hour reading vlog out. I absolutely adore this novel. I did not expect it to be this good, and that is Where the Crawdad Sings by Delia Owens. So guys, I am aware of the whole controversy surrounding this novel, but I'm somebody, I will speak my mind and I'll be very honest. Even with the whole controversy surrounding it, I read it before the controversy exploded. I still love this novel and I still recommend it because it's a beautiful novel and it's told extremely well and it has an amazing story. So this novel follows the story of Kaya Clark. When she is 6 years old, her mother gets up and just leaves and doesn't come back. So she's left with her like five siblings and her father, who is quite abusive. And because her father is quite abusive, one by one, each sibling gets up and leaves, eventually leaving Kaya alone with her dad. Her dad is also a drunk. He's an alcoholic. There's this nice part in the novel when she's like, I think 10 years old, that her father and her, you know, they go fishing and they try and get along, but then he too and he will usually go to like a nearby bar to get drunk. One day he just goes to the bar and he never comes back. So Kaya literally is living by herself in this marsh, this torn down house, and finding friends in the animals nearby. This novel is so interesting. It's set in America. It's set in that time period in America where slavery has ended. It's like 1950s, 1940s. Slavery has ended, but it's still like racial divide, and that's why a lot of the controversy surrounding the novel is because of her portrayal of the Black people in this novel, which I also wasn't completely for, but at the same time, it's still a good novel. Kaya being alone, she grows up to be quite a beautiful young lady, and because of this, she kind of gets the attention from a lot of the young men in her town, who want to know what this wild marsh girl is all about. And there are a lot of themes in this novel that, warning, there's sexual assault in this novel. So if that's a trigger for you, I would not recommend reading it because of that trigger. Yes, she navigates also finding romantic relationships, overcoming loss, overcoming grief, overcoming heartbreak. She just goes through so much, but she does have her breakthrough by the end of her novel, which I will not reveal to you because I want you guys to check it out. But yes, it has romance, it has justice, it has characters that will stay with you long after you've turned the last page. It made me cry, it made me laugh. And that is why it is ending this list, because it's a novel that I absolutely enjoyed. And I feel like if you're going on a really long road trip, Where the Crawdad Sings is something that I definitely recommend. Go ahead and add Where the Crawdad Sings by Delia Owens on your TBR list. And it's also going to be a movie being produced by Reese Witherspoon, because I think she read it in her book club. So it's also an upcoming movie. So once you read the book, once the movie comes out, go ahead and check out the movie. Hopefully they adapt it well. I was looking at previews. I don't really like how they cast Kaya, but that's a conversation for another day. So yes, go ahead and add Where the Crawdad Sings by Delia Owens on your TBR list and check it out. Thank you guys so much for staying till the end of the video. If you watch this video to the end, go ahead and put a butterfly in the comment section below. If you guys love this video, don't be afraid to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Join the family, guys. So much good things are about to happen. I'm opening up a Patreon so I can be more in-depth and personal with you guys behind the scenes of YouTube. I also have a Bookstagram account that you guys can go ahead and follow, where I post quotes from our favorite books. And also I have a book talk account, which I am restarting, so we're gonna have more content on that, more hilarious content or more relatable content. So I'm very excited for the future of this channel and the future of Midnight Reading and just this family. So if you guys have read any of the books on this list, I want to actually know your opinions, whether you guys liked it, whether you guys disliked it. Tell me why in the comment section below. I literally read all the comments, and I just love interacting with you guys. So yes, on your next road trip, hopefully you pick out one of these books that I recommended, because I kid you not, I enjoyed all of these books equally, and I read them in less than 5 hours. So they're fast, they're quick reads. And I don't consider myself a fast-paced reader. I'm not one of those people on BookTube that read like 10 books in a month. I wish I was, but I don't read 10 books in a month. And I also don't listen to audiobooks because my attention span does not allow me to listen to audiobooks. So I'm a traditional reader through and through. Yeah, if you guys are going on your next road trip or even your next flight, definitely read one of these novels. They're so entertaining and you guys are going to love them just as much as I did. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-sies.